What am I looking at right now?
We don't have much time. If he finds out, everything is over.
If who finds out? Me? No more guessing.
We can't keep delaying this.
Rushing will make it worse. What if he already suspects something?
He doesn't see anything unless it affects his business.
I'll be traveling to Chicago. 3 days.
Oh, okay.
Safe trip. That's it. No questions.
You've never needed our permission before.
I'll make sure everything runs smoothly, sir.
I'm counting on that.
Let's see what you do when I'm gone. They look relaxed. They're not supposed to look relaxed.
Rain slammed hard against the glass as Daniel Whitmore tightened his grip on his phone. Zoom in, he muttered to himself. The security footage sharpened. His daughters were in the living room, with Marcus. Too close. Too comfortable. And then he heard it, Lily's voice, shaky but urgent. We don't have much time. If he finds out, everything is over. Daniel froze. His jaw tightened. What the hell is going on in my house? The screen flickered slightly as Ava stepped closer to Marcus. I'm serious, she said. If Dad finds out, he'll ruin everything. Daniel's breathing slowed, but heavier. Ruined what? His fingers hovered over the phone like he wanted to smash it. Instead, he whispered, no. I'm not guessing anymore. The screen went black. Tomorrow, he said quietly. I find out everything. The next morning, Daniel sat at the long dining table, untouched breakfast in front of him. Ava scrolled through her phone. Lily stirred her tea slowly. Marcus stood near the wall, silent as always. Daniel cleared his throat. I'll be traveling to Chicago. 3 days. Maybe 4. Lily looked up too fast. Oh, okay. Too quick. Too relieved. Ava didn't even look surprised. Safe trip, she said flatly. Daniel's eyes shifted to Marcus. You'll keep things in order. Marcus nodded once. Of course, sir. Daniel leaned back slightly, watching them all. Nobody asked questions. Nobody cared. And that bothered him more than anything. 3 hours later, Daniel wasn't at the airport. He was in a black SUV parked 2 streets away from his mansion. Engine off. Lights off. Watching. Let's see what you do when I'm gone, he muttered. Inside the house, things changed almost immediately. The tension disappeared. Lily laughed. Actually laughed. Daniel frowned. I don't remember the last time she laughed like that with me. He tapped into another camera angle. The kitchen. Marcus was cooking. Ava stood beside him, casually leaning on the counter. You're doing it wrong, Marcus said calmly. Ava smirked. I'm not taking cooking lessons from you. You asked for help. I asked for suggestions, not control. Lily giggled. Daniel's jaw tightened. Control? That word echoed in his head. Marcus chuckled softly. Then burn it. Ava laughed. Daniel blinked slowly. They laugh with him? His grip tightened again. That's not normal. Hours passed. Daniel didn't move. Didn't eat. Didn't blink much. Just watched. And the more he watched, the worse it felt. They were happy. Without him. At around 8:45 p.m., something shifted. Ava walked quickly into the living room. Lily, get your stuff. We're going. Daniel leaned forward. Going where? Lily hesitated. Are you sure it's safe? Marcus stepped in, calm as ever. It's necessary. Daniel's eyes narrowed. Necessary? For what? He whispered. Ava grabbed her jacket. We don't have time to argue. Let's go. Marcus nodded. I'll drive. Daniel's heart started pounding. Drive? Where are they going at this hour? The front door opened. They stepped out. Daniel didn't think twice. He started the engine. Let's play this game, he muttered. The city lights blurred as he followed them from a distance. Not too close. Not too far. Don't lose them, don't lose them. They crossed out of the polished streets into a rougher part of town. Daniel frowned. What are you doing here? The buildings changed. Less luxury. More struggle. They finally stopped in front of a small clinic. Daniel blinked. A clinic. His confusion deepened. He parked across the street. Watched them step out. No hesitation. No fear. Like they'd been here before. That means this isn't the first time, he said slowly. Something in his chest twisted. Inside the clinic, through the glass, Daniel saw Lily rush to a hospital bed. She grabbed an old man's hand. Hey, we're back, she said softly. Daniel's eyes narrowed. Who is that? Ava walked up to the doctor. We brought more money, she said. Daniel froze. Money? What money? The doctor nodded. This should cover the surgery now. Daniel's breath caught. Surgery? His mind started racing. This doesn't make sense. Marcus stood quietly behind them, watching, protecting, like he belonged there. No, this isn't right. His thoughts spiraled. Are they being manipulated? Is Marcus using them? Are they involved in something illegal? His jaw clenched hard. I knew it. I knew something was off. He stepped out of the car. Rain hit his face instantly. Cold. Sharp. But he didn't feel it. All he felt was anger. And something deeper. Fear. If this man has dragged my daughters into something. He stopped mid-step. Through the window, Lily spoke again. Don't worry, you're going to be okay now. Her voice cracked. Ava placed a hand on her shoulder. We promised we'd fix this. Daniel's anger faltered. Just slightly. Fix what? He stepped closer. Closer. Close enough to hear everything. And then, Marcus, Ava said quietly, thank you for helping us find him. Daniel froze completely. Find him? Marcus nodded. He deserved better. The old man on the bed coughed weakly. Lily squeezed his hand tighter. We're not leaving you again. Daniel's heart slammed hard against his chest. Again? What is going on here? He whispered. His mind couldn't connect the pieces. Nothing made sense anymore. And then Ava said something that made everything worse. If Dad ever finds out about this. Daniel's face darkened. Yeah, he muttered under his breath. What happens if I do? Backhand index pointing right if this is already pulling you in, hit like, because what Daniel is about to discover next will change everything. Backhand index pointing right, and don't forget to subscribe, because the truth behind that hospital bed is something you won't see coming. Daniel took a slow step toward the door. His hand reached for it, then stopped. For the first time in years, Daniel Whitmore hesitated. Am I ready to hear the truth? His grip tightened. And then, he pushed the door open. The door creaked open. Every head turned. Lily's hand slipped from the old man's fingers. Ava's body went stiff. Marcus didn't move. And Daniel stepped inside slowly, his shoes echoing against the quiet floor. Dad, Lily whispered. That single word carried fear, guilt, and something else Daniel couldn't place. Disappointment. His eyes swept across the room. The hospital bed. The machines. The weak man lying there. Then back to his daughters. I asked a simple question, Daniel said coldly. What is going on? No one answered immediately. The silence stretched. Thick. Uncomfortable. Ava stepped forward first. You weren't supposed to be here. Daniel let out a short, humorless laugh. Oh, I figured that part out. His eyes snapped to Marcus. And you, his voice hardened, you better start talking. Marcus met his gaze calmly. I will, sir. But not like this. Daniel's jaw clenched. Not like this, he repeated. You think you're in a position to set terms? Lily stepped in quickly. Dad, please. No. Daniel's voice cut through the room. You don't get to please me right now. I leave for 3 days and come back to this. He gestured sharply at the bed. At secrets? At lies? Ava's eyes flared. We didn't lie. Daniel turned to her slowly. You hid it. Because you wouldn't understand. That's not your decision to make. It became our decision the moment you stopped caring. The words hit harder than anything else. For a second, Daniel didn't respond. Didn't move. Then he scoffed. I provide everything for you. Ava shook her head, her voice rising. No. You pay for everything. That's not the same thing. Lily's eyes filled with tears. Please, can we not fight here? Daniel's breathing grew heavier. This ends now, he said. You're coming home. No. The word came from Ava. Sharp. Immediate. Final. Daniel blinked. What did you just say? I said no. The room felt like it shrank. You don't get to control everything anymore, Ava added. Daniel stepped closer, his presence overwhelming. I am your father. And we are not your business assets, she fired back. Marcus finally stepped forward. Sir. Daniel's head snapped toward him. Stay out of this. Marcus didn't. With respect, I can't. Daniel laughed again, louder this time. Of course you can't. Because you're right in the middle of it. His voice dropped dangerously low. How long has this been going on? Marcus answered without hesitation. Months. Daniel's eyes widened slightly. Months under my roof? Yes, sir. And you thought that was acceptable? Marcus held his gaze. No, sir. I thought it was necessary. That word again. Necessary. Daniel took a step closer. You keep using that word like it justifies something. It doesn't justify it, Marcus said calmly. It explains it. Daniel's voice rose. Then explain it. Silence. Then, a weak voice from the bed. Daniel? Everything stopped. Daniel turned slowly. The old man's eyes were barely open, but he was looking straight at him. Recognition. Daniel's face tightened. No, he whispered. The man coughed. It's been a long time. Daniel stepped closer, disbelief washing over him. Mr. Collins? Lily wiped her tears quickly. You know him? Daniel ignored her. His mind was already pulling memories from places he'd buried. You worked for me, Daniel said slowly. The old man gave a faint smile. I gave my life to your company. The room went quiet again. Daniel swallowed. Hard. What happened to you? Ava's voice came in, sharp and controlled. You happened. Daniel's head snapped toward her. Watch your tone. Why? You want the truth or not? Daniel didn't answer. Ava stepped forward. You fired him. No warning. No compensation. Just gone. Daniel's face hardened. It was a restructuring decision. It was a life you destroyed. That's business. That's a human being. The words clashed in the air. Heavy. Unavoidable. Lily spoke softly, her voice shaking. He lost his home, Dad. Daniel's chest tightened. His wife left, she continued. He got sick. And there was no one left. Daniel looked back at Mr. Collins. The man didn't argue. Didn't accuse. Just watched him quietly. And somehow, that felt worse. Daniel turned slowly to Marcus. And you, how are you connected to this? Marcus answered simply. He trained me. Daniel frowned. What? When I first came to the city, Marcus continued, I had nothing. No job. No place to stay. No one who cared. He glanced briefly at Mr. Collins. He gave me a chance. Daniel's throat felt dry. And now? Now I'm returning it. Silence. Daniel looked around the room again. His daughters. The man in the bed. Marcus. All connected, without him. Ava spoke again. We found him by accident. Months ago. Lily nodded. He was sleeping outside a pharmacy. Daniel's chest tightened again. And you didn't think to tell me? Ava's eyes locked onto his. Would you have listened? Daniel opened his mouth. Then stopped. Because deep down, he knew the answer. No. Ava exhaled slowly. That's why we didn't tell you. The truth sat between them. Heavy. Uncomfortable. Unavoidable. Daniel ran a hand over his face. This doesn't make sense, he muttered. We've been coming here, Lily said softly. Paying for his treatment little by little. Daniel looked at her. With what money? Ava answered. Ours. You don't have that kind of money. We sold things. Daniel frowned. What things? Ava didn't hesitate. Jewelry. Gifts. Things you bought us. Daniel blinked. You sold them. Lily nodded. We didn't need them. That hit deeper than anything else. Daniel's voice dropped. You sold what I gave you, for him? Ava stepped closer. No. We used what you gave us, to fix what you broke. Silence. Absolute silence. Daniel felt it. For the first time in years. He felt small. Backhand index pointing right if this moment just hit you. Drop a comment right now. Truth hurts, because what's coming next will go even deeper. Backhand index pointing right, and make sure you subscribe, because Daniel is about to face something he's avoided his entire life. Daniel looked back at Mr. Collins. How much is the surgery? He asked quietly. Ava crossed her arms. Why? Because I'm asking. That's not an answer. Daniel's patience snapped slightly. I don't need to justify myself to you. Ava didn't back down. Then we don't need your help. That stopped him. Completely. You'd rather struggle than accept it from me, he asked. Yes. The word came from both daughters this time. Together. Firm. Daniel stared at them. His own children. Standing against him. Not afraid. Not backing down. And, for the first time, he realized something terrifying. I don't know them, he whispered. Marcus stepped forward again. Sir, this was never about rejecting you. Daniel didn't look at him. Then what is it about? Marcus answered softly. It's about becoming something better than what hurt them. Daniel finally looked up. And for once, he had no comeback. No argument. No control. Just a truth he couldn't ignore. And it was breaking him from the inside. Daniel stood there, unmoving, like the weight of everything in that room had finally pinned him down. No boardroom. No assistance. No power. Just truth, staring him in the face. He let out a slow breath. Tell me the number, he said again, quieter this time. Ava didn't respond immediately. She studied him. Like she was trying to figure out if this was another one of his control tactics. You don't get to just walk in and fix this with money, she said. Daniel nodded slightly. I know. That alone made Lily look up. Because that wasn't the answer they expected. Marcus noticed too. You know? Ava repeated, skeptical. Daniel swallowed. I know I don't get to erase what I did. The room went still. Ava's expression shifted, just a little. And yet, you're asking how much, she said. Daniel looked at Mr. Collins, then back at her. I'm asking because I should have asked years ago. That hit differently. No anger in his voice. No command. Just something unfamiliar. Regret. Lily stepped closer. Dad. But Ava raised a hand slightly, stopping her. No. Not yet. Her eyes stayed locked on Daniel. Say it properly. Daniel frowned. Say what? The truth, Ava said. Not business language. Not excuses. The truth. Daniel hesitated. For a man who negotiated billion-dollar deals without blinking, this moment felt harder than all of them combined. He looked at Mr. Collins again. The man who once trusted him. The man he discarded. Daniel's voice came out lower than usual. I fired you, he said slowly. Mr. Collins didn't react. Daniel continued. I didn't think about what would happen after. I didn't ask. I didn't care. Silence. Heavy. Raw. I told myself it was just business, Daniel added. But that was easier than admitting I didn't want to deal with the consequences. Ava's arms slowly dropped from her chest. Lily wiped her face again. Daniel's voice tightened slightly. I built everything by making decisions fast. Cutting anything that slowed things down. People included. He paused. Then said it. I was wrong. The words landed like a shockwave. Because this was a man who never said that. Not in meetings. Not at home. Not anywhere. Marcus watched closely. Ava's eyes softened, just a fraction. But she didn't step back. Being wrong doesn't fix anything, she said. I know, Daniel replied. Then what does this change? Daniel took a slow breath. It changes me. Ava shook her head slightly. That's easy to say. You're right, he said immediately. That surprised her. Again. So don't believe me, Daniel continued. Watch what I do next. Lily looked between them. Can we, please focus on him? She said softly, nodding toward Mr. Collins. The old man's breathing had grown heavier. The moment snapped back to reality. Marcus stepped forward. The surgery needs to happen soon. Daniel nodded. How soon? Within 48 hours. Daniel didn't hesitate. It'll happen. Ava tensed. Don't just decide that. I'm not deciding for you, Daniel said, calmer now. I'm offering to take responsibility. You think writing a check is responsibility? No, he replied. But it's where I start. Silence again. Ava looked at Lily. Lily whispered, we don't have enough yet. Ava closed her eyes briefly. Frustration. Conflict. Then she looked back at Daniel. If you do this, you don't get to control anything after. Daniel nodded. Agreed. No conditions. Agreed. No bringing this up later like you saved the day. Daniel's jaw tightened slightly. But he nodded again. Agreed. Ava studied him one last time. Then stepped aside. Fine. Lily exhaled in relief. Thank you. Daniel didn't respond to that, because something about hearing thank you right now didn't sit right with him. The next morning, everything moved fast. Faster than any business deal Daniel had ever handled. Calls, arrangements, top surgeons, private operating room. No delays, no shortcuts. But this time, it didn't feel like power. It felt like urgency. Like something fragile could break if he didn't act fast enough. Hours later, outside the operating room, Lily paced back and forth. Ava sat quietly, her leg bouncing slightly. Marcus stood still, hands clasped. Daniel leaned against the wall, watching them. Not speaking, not leading, just there. Finally, Lily stopped pacing. She looked at Daniel. Why didn't you ever come to my school events? The question came out of nowhere, but it hit directly. Daniel blinked. I was busy. That's not what I asked. He hesitated. Ava looked up now, also waiting. Daniel exhaled slowly. Because I thought providing was enough. Lily's voice cracked. It wasn't. Daniel nodded. I know that now. Ava spoke next. You always said emotions were distractions. Daniel gave a small, bitter smile. Yeah, I did. And now? She asked. Daniel looked at the operating room door, then back at them. Now I think they're the only things that actually matter. Silence. But not the same kind as before. This one felt different. Softer. Uncertain. But shifting. Time passed slowly. Too slowly. Every second stretched. Until finally, the doors opened. The doctor stepped out. All four of them stood immediately. Well, Ava asked. The doctor smiled slightly. The surgery was successful. Lily broke instantly. Tears streamed down her face as she covered her mouth. Oh my God. Ava closed her eyes in relief. Marcus nodded once, quietly. Daniel didn't move at first. Then he let out a breath he didn't realize he'd been holding. Thank you, he said. The doctor nodded and walked away. Lily turned and hugged Ava tightly. We did it. Ava held her close. Yes, we did. Daniel watched them. Then, after a brief hesitation, he stepped closer. Awkward. Uncertain. Like he didn't know where he fit anymore. He started. Ava looked at him. Then at Lily. Lily nodded slightly. Ava stepped aside. Daniel moved in slowly. And for the first time in years, he hugged his daughters. Not perfectly. Not confidently. But genuinely. Lily held onto him. Tight. Like she'd been waiting for this. Ava didn't hug him back fully at first. But she didn't pull away either. And that was enough. For now. Backhand index pointing I'd if this moment just touched you. Hit like right now. Because the next decision Daniel makes will either rebuild everything or destroy it again. Backhand index pointing right and comment. Too late or just in time? Because not every apology gets a second chance. Hours later, Daniel stood alone outside the hospital. Phone in hand. A familiar name on the screen. One of his top executives. He answered. Sir, we need your approval on the layoffs scheduled for tomorrow. Daniel went quiet. The word echoed. Layoffs. The same word. The same decision. The same kind of moment that started all of this. Sir, the voice pressed. Daniel looked back through the glass doors. He could see his daughters inside. Marcus standing beside them. Waiting. Present. Something Daniel had never been. He brought the phone back to his ear. Cancel it, he said. A pause. Sir, cancel all of it. But the numbers. I don't care about the numbers right now. Silence on the other end. Daniel's voice lowered. We'll find another way. He ended the call. And for the first time in a long time, he felt like he made the right decision. Daniel slipped his phone into his pocket and stood there a moment longer, staring through the glass. Inside, Lily was laughing softly at something Marcus said. Ava leaned against the wall, arms folded, but not closed off this time. Just thinking. Daniel exhaled slowly. I almost lost all of this, he whispered to himself. And for once, that thought didn't feel dramatic. It felt real. 2 days later, Mr. Collins was awake. Weak, but alive. The room was quieter now. Calmer. Lily sat beside him again, carefully adjusting his blanket. Hey, she said gently, you scared us, you know that? Mr. Collins gave a faint smile. I'm still here. Ava stood near the window, watching. Marcus poured a glass of water. Daniel stood at the door. Not walking in yet. Not sure if he should. He knocked lightly. All eyes turned. Lily smiled first. Dad, come in. That one word, Dad, felt different now. Softer. Warmer. Daniel stepped inside slowly. I didn't want to interrupt, he said. You're not, Ava replied quietly. He nodded, then looked at Mr. Collins. I owe you an apology, Daniel said. No delay. No build-up. Just truth. Mr. Collins studied him. You don't owe me anything, he said weakly. Daniel shook his head. No. I do. He stepped closer. I made a decision that destroyed your life. And I never looked back. The room fell silent again. Daniel continued. I told myself it was necessary. That it was just business. His voice tightened. But I was wrong. Mr. Collins didn't respond immediately. Then he said softly, you weren't the only one who made choices. Daniel frowned slightly. What do you mean? I chose to tie my whole life to a company, Mr. Collins replied. When it fell, I didn't know who I was without it. Daniel stood still. That doesn't excuse what I did. No, Mr. Collins agreed. But it explains what happened after. Lily looked between them. Ava's expression softened again. Marcus remained quiet. Then Mr. Collins added, but your daughters, they reminded me that people still care. His eyes shifted to Ava and Lily. They gave me something you didn't. Daniel swallowed. I know. And this time, there was no defense behind it. Later that evening, the house felt different. Not just quieter. Warmer. The kind of warmth that doesn't come from money. Daniel walked into the kitchen. Marcus was there. Preparing dinner. Daniel paused. Then said, Marcus. Marcus turned. Yes, sir. Daniel hesitated briefly. Then stepped forward. I've been thinking. Marcus nodded slightly. I assumed you had. Daniel gave a small, almost embarrassed smile. I misjudged you. Marcus didn't react much. You had reason to be cautious, he said. No, Daniel replied. I had a habit of assuming the worst in people. Marcus studied him. That habit protected you. Daniel nodded. And it cost me my family. Silence. Then Daniel added, I want to change that. Marcus didn't answer immediately. Then he said, change doesn't happen in words, sir. I know, Daniel replied. That's why I'm starting with actions. Marcus gave a small nod. That's a good place to start. Daniel took a breath. There's something else. Marcus waited. I want you to stay, Daniel said. Marcus raised an eyebrow slightly. I never said I was leaving. Daniel exhaled lightly. Not as a servant. That got Marcus's attention. What do you mean? Daniel met his eyes. I want you to help me rebuild this family. Marcus was quiet for a moment. Then he asked, are you ready for what that requires? Daniel didn't hesitate this time. Yes. Marcus studied him, then nodded once. Then we'll see. Dinner that night felt unfamiliar. No long table. No distance. They sat in the kitchen. Together. Lily laughed again. Ava rolled her eyes at something Marcus said. Daniel listened. Didn't interrupt. Didn't control. Just listened. At one point, Lily looked at him. Are you okay? She asked. Daniel nodded. Yeah. Then added. I'm just learning. Ava smirked slightly. That's new. Daniel gave a small shrug. Yeah, it is. Weeks passed. Things didn't magically become perfect. Ava still challenged him. Lily still hesitated sometimes. Marcus still observed more than he spoke. But something had shifted. Daniel showed up. School events. Dinner. Conversations. Not perfectly, but consistently. And that made the difference. One evening, Daniel stood in the hallway again. The same spot. The same view. His daughters in the living room. Laughing. Marcus sitting nearby. But this time, he didn't feel like an outsider. He stepped forward. Walked in. Ava looked up. You're home early. Daniel nodded. Yeah. Lily smiled. Good. Marcus gave a small nod. Daniel sat down. No hesitation. No second guessing. Just presence. Later that night,